Good morning. I've got your energy stories here for the first week of September. And on the first one, the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, together with the CharIN Association, who looks at these things, indicated they've tested components for the new megawatt charging system called MCS. It's a standard to harmonize electric truck charging. MCS will allow charging of up to 3.75 megawatts, and NREL and CharIN suggest that truck charging stations will need to offer fast charging at least 1 megawatt. In transportation, time is, after all, money. How much energy are we talking about with this NREL thing? Well, they say it's enough energy in a single truck equivalent to power 3,200 US homes, with a charging speed that would deliver all of the energy used during the day in a typical home to that truck in 28 seconds. That requires a unique design and cabling, connector, and charging inlet, and of course, there will be significant implications for the power grid itself. That's a lot of capacity, and some infrastructure may be required there. Speaking of batteries, Chinese battery manufacturer China Lithium Battery Technology, or CALB, recently announced it's expanding its battery production capacities to 300 gigawatt hours by 2025. This includes a new 50 gigawatt hour factory in Hefei, will cost 3.25 billion euros. In April, it broke ground on a 50 gigawatt facility in Chengdu, and another new plant is planned for Wuhan. CALB is also making a huge push into R&D, with planned centers in Shanghai, Japan, Europe, and North America. Customers already include GAC, Ion, Chang'an Auto, and Geely Automobile, but CALB also said it's, quote, in discussions on technology development cooperation, unquote, with Volkswagen, Daimler, and Great Wall Motor. Switching to shipping, the shipping behemoth Maersk is moving to decarbonize its fleet and just ordered 8 new methanol-powered container ships to the tune of $1.4 billion to be delivered by 2024. This is about a 10% premium over standard ships to make this happen. One problem is that clean methanol, which is CH3O3, relies on clean hydrogen as an input, and thus far, there's not enough clean methanol out there. Maersk commented in a statement that, quote, sourcing an adequate amount of carbon-neutral methanol from day one in service will be challenging, as it requires a significant production ramp-up of carbon-neutral methanol production. They're hoping their commitment will help to kickstart this process on the supply side. And this is rather important. Maritime emissions account for almost 3% of global CO2. Sticking with that little H2 molecule, China's state oil and gas company Sinopec Corp will spend $4.6 billion on hydrogen by 2025. And its acting chairman said it will, quote, expand forcefully into making hydrogen from renewable energy, unquote, as it moves to its stated goal of carbon neutrality by 2050. Sinopec intends to be China's largest hydrogen producer for use in transportation, targeting production over 1 million tons of green hydrogen between 2021 and 2025. And it also plans to add 400 megs of solar for electricity to charge EVs. Thus far, Sinopec has built 20 hydrogen filling stations, with another 60 in construction, planning, or approval stages. And finally, with CO2, you either avoid it or you capture it. Reinsurance leader Swiss Re announced recently it has signed the world's first long-term agreement for direct carbon capture with Climeworks AG, a leading direct air capture startup. The contract is small, it's only $10 million over 10 years, but the hope is it will catalyze others to follow, and Swiss Re's bottom line has been slammed by extreme weather attributed to climate change. Insured losses in the first half of this year were the second highest on record. The Climeworks technology mixes air-captured CO2 with water and then traps it deep underground in stone, and through a natural mineralization process, it actually turns into stone itself. Climeworks just started operations of its direct air capture plant in Iceland in the second week of September. I just got a press release yesterday. And it will capture 4,000 tons per year. That's not a lot in the scheme of things, but it's seen as just the first part of an expansion plan that eventually will lead to megaton removal capacity in the latter half of this decade. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.